So pretty much we're at the back of the penny. Frame of reference, Washington Monuments right here. Capitol Building's right there. Smithsonian is right there. And that is the Museum of Natural History.
Welcome to the channel of the Roving Veterans.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Bethany.
And don't forget about our dog, the Traveling Maverick.
We chose our name because we RV, and we're also both military veterans.
We bought our first camper in 2020 and been full-time ever since.
On this episode, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. with a few people from my family. Rob set out on this one. But I'm going to show you around the city of Washington, D.C. and some of those free museums you can visit. Or should I say, tax funded.
Alright, so staying in Williamsburg on this trip, but we're doing DC today, Washington DC. So about a 3-hour drive and then a subway because we don't want to have to worry about parking or driving in DC. So we're in Springfield, Virginia to catch the subway into DC. So here we go. Here we go. Let's get on there. My hair's a hot mess. Here we go. Next up, we're almost there. We made it to Union Station. We're officially in DC. Here we go. Union Station. Well, we're almost there. There's a little fountain at the front. You can kind of, well, I guess you can't see the Capitol building through the trees, but we're about to be there. It's a nice, warm morning here in Washington, D.C. It is 10:50 at this point, and I think it's probably already at least in the 80s. I haven't looked, but so I know y'all have only seen my dad on Havasu video, Lake Havasu, and on Oatman, but he's always in a hurry. He's way up there. We're all back here, just enjoying the stroll. He's running, but I guess you know what, man? Maybe him and Rob would go well together because in a lot of these videos, Rob goes way ahead of me, and I'm just videoing everything. So maybe they should be walking buddies. I mean, Rob's not here today, but that's pretty. Well, we're almost there officially. Got this all here. Officially at the Capitol building. We made it. Across the street is Supreme Court, but we're here for now. We're gonna go to the visitor center and see what else here. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna be able to get in on a tour today, unfortunately, because we didn't think that through. But oh well, we're gonna walk around anyway. And we made it through security at the Capitol building, so here we go. I don't know where we're going from here. Never been inside. I only stood outside. This is where the scales of justice are practiced. This is the Supreme Court of the United States of America. This is where justice is supposed to prevail. There's one. There's the other two. Frame of reference, Washington Monuments right here. Capitol Building's right there. Smithsonian is right there. And that is the Museum of Natural History. So that's about a little past halfway between the Washington Monument and the Capitol Building is where you're going to find the museums of Smithsonian and Natural History. Washington Monument. Department of Agriculture. Well, almost made it there. Almost. I didn't remember to wear my Captain America earrings today though. But maybe it's a good thing. Maybe the Avengers won't have to show up in DC today. We'll see. It's way on up there. But if you really pay attention, you can see the clouds moving. And there's the Lincoln Memorial, way down there. But it looks like they have a little wreath for every state. Also for the territories though, because they had American Samoa and Guam over there. So this one says in memory of the World War. So I'm gonna guess that might be supposed to be World War I. That there's not. I've heard that there's not a World War I memorial here. That my only guess is that looks pretty old, and maybe there just wasn't a Second World War then, so when they made it, it was the World War. That's just total guesstimation, so it didn't have anything on it though, so that's why I'm guesstimating that. So where all the other ones have like a star or a name or something to commemorate their sacrifice and duty, that one don't. Here we mark the price of freedom. So we're about to go in the Korean War Memorial now. My papa, he passed in November of 2019, but he turned 19 in Korea, and he was 60 when he did Desert Storm. When I was in the Army, I used to say all the time that my papa was in Korea and in Desert Storm, and every one of them said, no, there's no way, he couldn't have been. But he was. Not a whole lot of people can say that, but he was. There's the park police.
This is the Korean War Memorial. I'm going to let you listen to Korea through the eyes and ears of my papa.
I was 19-year-old, the first battle that I had in Korea. That's how old I was when I joined, when I landed in Korea. And boy, I tell you what, that was something to go through with too. Watching people on each side of it get shot down and you still living. And that's something that you'll never forget either. Because that was just life itself back then.
Okay. Tell us about the prisoner of war camp.
Well, we had several soldiers in there, and they had them fenced in. And the people that was guarding them, we killed every one of them and got the soldiers back out. And that's the way it ended, and that was the way it started.
What did they eat?
I didn't see no food at all in there. I didn't see no food at all.
Were they skin and bones?
Yeah, they were skin and bones.
Did you find out you were going to get to come home from Korea? How did that happen?
Because when I went to the hospital,
Oh.
I just got messed up, that's all, you know. And they sent me to a hospital back in the rear, before the end of that island. And then from there, they sent me to a hospital in Japan, and I stayed in that a long time. And then from there, they sent me to an Air Force hospital up in Illinois. Then they sent me there by mistake. And then they sent me back down to Fort Campbell to the Army hospital.
Okay.
Now you went from Korea and you went to another war. Tell us about your second war. That was the Desert Storm.
Oh, Desert Storm was good. Yeah, it was real good.
Compared to Korea, huh?
I enjoyed Desert Storm.
Did you?
Yeah.
There were over 50,000 troop deaths during the Korean War era. After hearing my papa talk about how people on his left and his right were dying, and then seeing this memorial with my own eyes, it really put into perspective how many people that was and how hard that must have been for him.
They have them listed by branch of service and then by rank. So if you're coming here and you're looking for someone's name, that's how you're going to find it. Is they have these papers with pencils, and it's made to where you can, because this is indented, right? So it's made to where you can put your if it's somebody you know, their name on here, and pencil it and bring it home with you, which is actually a really good idea. I really like they did that, because that's not something that most people would think about. Plus, it's really hot today, sweaty. Depending on what you're using to put that paper in, it's probably gonna get kind of sweaty. So maybe bring a Ziploc bag with you, so that way you can put it in your Ziploc bag when you're done, so that way it doesn't tear because of sweat. This is a very needed and wonderful little break area. It is extremely sweaty today, but it feels kind of perfect under here. with a little slight breeze. We made it to the Lincoln Memorial. So pretty much we're at the back of the penny. There's the man himself. So we made it to the Lincoln Memorial, which is to commemorate Abe Lincoln and his freeing of the slaves that were in America at the time. So they had a little veteran booth out there. They're raising money or whatever. So I got me and my brother both, because we're both Afghanistan veterans, so I got both of us Enduring Freedom pin in DC. I think that's kind of cool. So there's the Washington Monument. There's the White House. I'm gonna give you a little view right here. Ta-da! The White House. All right, so we're almost to the Museum of Natural History. And I am at 17,500 steps for the day. Needless to say, I'm a little tired and I'm so ready to sit down and get something to eat, because that's what we're doing. That is what we're doing right now. Oh, SC was saying that his sister always gets stopped. Guess who got stopped this time? I'm just glad there's air conditioning here. I got me a burger and waffle fries and a water. Mine was 23. Lydia got chicken tenders and fries, and so did SC. What was y'all's price on y'all's?
22.
22 for both of them. And Dad got tacos and such. What was yours?
$21.47.
$21.47 is what he said. So that's kind of a price point you're going to be looking at if you are going to be eating inside the government buildings, I guess. There was a salad bar upstairs right above this. The salad bar was $16.90 something. You know, ain't feeling salad. I gotta say, I never ever realized how big one of those little guys was. You see him on TV all the time. I'm like 6 feet from this thing because there's a piece of glass and I can't get any closer. Look how big this guy is. Found a moose, and he's bigger than me by quite some bit. So now we're gonna do this instead. You can't really get a glimpse for how small this little Bible is, but I would say it is about the size of the palm of my hand. You'd have to have really good glasses for that. So I guess this is part of the native exhibit. We've done a lot of the native stuff on our road trip. So I'm not gonna lie, I was a little shocked that these things are as big as they are. I don't know, I never really was a Star Wars person, but I definitely thought they were not that big. I legitimately said something about Captain America earlier today when we were at the Washington Monument.
They also had a section of the museum where they had dresses of different first ladies that they wore on the inauguration day or to the inaugural ball that evening. While they had a ton of different dresses from different first ladies, in this video I just decided to include the ones of first ladies during my lifetime. I know Bill Clinton got inaugurated when I was in kindergarten, so that's really about as far back as my memory went. But they were all really a neat addition to this type of museum.
I would not have wanted to be in the Navy back then. No thanks. Yorktown, we will be there tomorrow. You You know, on this road trip, we've done a lot of native history, and I don't guess I've really thought about it. You always look at, you know, the British that came, or they massacred the natives. They straight up killed them for their land. Then you also forget that there were other people who were going to do it too. We just happened to be the tougher of them, I guess. Well, our ancestors, I guess you could say. But it's crazy to think about. So this is timber from the White House when it burnt in 1814. Alright, so it's 5 o'clock in DC. 23,000 steps in, and we calling it a day. We're gonna catch the subway again. Also, I met up with all of my other family here. Well, not all of them, but some of them. So we got to spend the last little couple hours together at the Smithsonian. So yeah, time to go. We're almost at the last stop, which is where we get off. I want to show you this. Look. You think I sweat today? That's all like salt. That's gross, huh? And even though I drank water all day, still don't think I drank enough, but I'm gonna do that at the place we're staying at tonight. Getting out the subway. Here we go. Now we gotta get back in the car and drive like 2 hours or so.
This trip to DC was literally a one-day deal. I had met up with some of my family for one day in DC and had a blast. Very glad that we ended up doing this. This trip to DC was one day and one day only, and it was not even an entire day. So we had to squish a whole lot in a little amount of time. But it is about a 45-minute walk from the Capitol building to the White House. So if you're trying to judge distance, how far is it? It's about a 45-minute walk if you're walking straight from one to the other. But there's a lot of stuff you can stop and do in between there. So is it doable? Absolutely. You just might be tired. Oh, by the way, I'm still working on videos from last summer because I found that SD card that I've been telling y'all was missing. Found it. Anyway, guys, until next time.